This is Shell of Shell's Creations, and today I want to talk with you about a way that you can stretch your CU or commercial use stash. In particular today, we're going to talk about different ways that you can use the CU vine patterns. I'm going to be working with pattern number 1, and I'm going to do this tutorial in Photoshop. In particular, I'm using version CS6. If I were going to do this, I actually would do it inside of Illustrator to take advantages of some of the options there. And you can find out more about those options in my Illustrator pattern making class. In the meantime, I want to do this one in Photoshop so that anyone who doesn't have Illustrator can see how to do it, because you can do the same thing in Photoshop. You just have to use a few workarounds. In the materials that come with the vine patterns, I've included the size of the repeat on each of the patterns. The repeat on this one is 2.5 inches square. And so the first thing I need to do is turn on my grid, and then I can really pick anywhere I want on the pattern. With my grid turned on and my snap to grid selected, I would like to select a spot that is 2.5 inches square. So I'm going to start right here and go down 2.5 and over 2.5, and then on a new layer below my vines, hold down Command and click on the new layer icon to put a layer below. I want to hold down Alt, Delete, and Fill. Now in particular on this one I'm going to work on a summer, and then I'm going to show you how you could switch that up for fall. And so I'm just going to go ahead and give it kind of a light craft sort of background. Control D to deselect, and then go ahead and turn off your grids. Okay, this is the space I'm going to be working in, and I don't want to use the leaves that are there. I want to do entirely my own thing. I am going to use a leaf that is in the custom shape. So let's go in. I'm going to choose, this leaf right here, and I'm going to go ahead and make it in a green color to begin with. I think I'll do it about that big. Okay, now in particular with this leaf, I don't want to mess with getting all the stems in all the right places. Some of the leaves I might use the stem, but a lot of them I'm not going to be using the stem. And so the first thing I want to do is get rid of that stem. I want to leave this as a custom shape because it's easier to change up. It's very simple to change up the color on the custom shape. And so I'm going to use a layer mask to get rid of the stem. So let's just go in and say I do not want the stem, but I want everything else in this leaf. And then if we click on the layer mask icon, that'll make that stem disappear, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. Alright, let's start placing our leaves. Let's put one up here, and I think I want to include another one, so I'm just going to go ahead and drag that one down, rotate it a little bit, and I'm going to make it kind of look like two leaves are on the end of this branch. And I want one to be further out than the other one. Let's try that one in place, and let's move this back one. And then in order to show that there's two different ones, because you'll notice that what I see instead is a large blob, there's a couple of different ways that we can change them up. First one that we can do is changing it color. I'm going to use a completely different color from my color scheme on that this time, and there are different ways that you could go ahead and do that, and I'll show you a few as we're working on this. Another thing that you can show the differences is size. So let's go ahead and drag that one, holding down the Alt key. I'll put one over here, and I'm going to change up the angle so that it doesn't, a tree has essentially the same shape for leaves, but they're a little bit different in size. You could change the proportion a little bit and make that one a little bit skinnier. Let's make it a little bit smaller too, and then put it about right here. Let's take back this one. I usually leave my auto select button unchecked, but remember that if you hold down the Command key and click, it's as if your auto select button is checked. Hold down Alt and, oops, too close to the center. Hold down Alt till we get the double arrows. There we go. Let's flip this one around, and this time I'm going to rotate this one or reflect this one. So just go up and check. Let's say yes. Now when I click on the transform controls, I can put a negative sign in front of the width, and that will flip it. Let's put that one right there. Let's put another couple of them out here. Don't worry about them going off the edge of the pattern. We'll take care of that in a minute. Just fill in your branch with as many leaves as you'd like. I do want more of mine to be the main darker green, but I want a few little ones here and there. Let's see. Let's take this one now and put it right here. smaller. And I think just to show you why I wanted to leave the stems on there. On this one, I'm going to delete the layer mask, and that'll add the stem back in there. Let's move it over just a little bit, just so that there's some variety in it. Okay, I've shown you how we can do some color changes, we can do shapes changes. The important thing now is to fill in all the rest of this space, and the scope of filling that in is going to take way too long to watch in a video. And so I'm just going to go ahead and pause the video while I fill that in, and then we'll come back with what to do about the repeats. The next thing that you have to deal with is where your leaves go over the border. So like this one right here sticks above the border of my repeat, and that's what my tan square here is where the repeat is going to be. So I need to duplicate that and move it down 2 inches. I'm going to turn back on my grid right now so that I can see these really accurately. Okay, so that one is going to have to move down 2 inches, and so I want to duplicate it right in the spot it's in by holding down Alt and clicking and dragging in the layers palette. And then I want to go up here under filter. I want to go down to offset. It has to be rasterized. I'm fine with that. We'll go ahead and rasterize it. Now I'm going to move it down 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches, 0 horizontally. Vertically, let's move it 750. And I need to see, we have the preview button checked so I can see where that's going to end up. And yes, that is the right spot. So I'm okay with that one. This little guy right here also needs to move, so let's go ahead and duplicate him by holding down Alt, click and drag, and now this new one, I'm going to go up to Filter, Other, Offset. Yes, you can rasterize that one, and this time instead of going down, I want to go up, so let's just put a negative 750, and yep, that's a good enough spot for that one. Now I should say that when I have both of these in place, I hold down the Shift key and then the Command key to click on them, and I link those two together. Let's go back and do that for this one. Hold down that and then Shift, click, Command, and link those two together. And that way, as I'm tweaking things, I can't accidentally mess up my borders. Okay, this one right here. Oh, nope, this one needs to go back over that way, and it's the only one that needs to move that direction. So let's hold down the Alt key and click to duplicate, down to offset, and yes, you can rasterize that one. And this time vertical is 0 and horizontal is negative 750. Okay, that puts a copy over there, and that's perfect. That's okay. Okay, now we have all the leaves in all the right places. Now we are ready to make this pattern so that we can repeat it. So let's go down and make the vines disappear. And we're going to use Command or Control and click on that shape so that we know what we want our repeat to be. And we want to edit, define pattern. Okay, now I'm going to select all of these leaves. I don't usually mess with them. I usually leave them in layers like this so that you could tweak them later if you wanted to. But I'm going to group them together. Command or Control G to group them together, just because it's a little bit easier for me. Okay, we've defined a pattern. So now let's deselect and let's go ahead and do a new layer, new fill layer, pattern. There we go. And here's our vines. Now, one of the things that you can do inside of Photoshop when you've got a pattern that way, you can just click on it and move it around to get it in the right spot, because you can see that we do not have ours in the right spot. Let's turn back on our group 1 because that will help us get it in the right spot. Okay, let's see. Let's find a individual, there it is right there. Just wiggle it around until you can get it in the right spot roughly. Okay, there we go. There's our pattern. If you wanted to add a background to it, if it was summer, let's see, layer, new fill layer, solid color. If I were working on this, I probably would give it a green background of some sort, or maybe put it on a brown tree, up on a blue sky. Anyway, you can play around with whatever you want for a background on that. So there's how you can utilize that to make it look more like summer, or just plain different, because as you can see, that's different leaves in the summer. Whoops. Different leaves than what we had on it originally. Okay, now I want to let's go back to this group. I need to ungroup layers, because I want to tweak it again. Let's make that go away just so that I can see where it is. Now I'm not going to move any of them around, but I'm going to pretend like I want a fall one instead. Okay, if I wanted to change this up a little bit and turn it into, say, a fall combination, then it's just a matter of clicking on this little button here and saying, okay, I want you to be red, and I want you to be orange. Let's make you red. Let's make you yellow. Let's make you tan. Let's make you brown. Let's make you orange, yellow. The ones that I've rasterized, I'll have to add a color fill layer to those. Like this one is rasterized, so I can change this one to orange, but to change the top, or to red, but to change the top one, I'll have to add a color fill layer. Clip it to it so that it's also red. Again, this takes a long time, so hang on a minute while I pause. Okay, I have all of my leaves changed color, and so I'm going to select my background again and then shut off that layer, and it looks like I need to shut off my vines layer. And again, we can define that as a pattern. Okay, and now deselect. And let's select all of these leaves and group them back together again so that I can shut them off. And here's my green leaves, and I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the green leaves because they're already moved into the right location. So now when I go in and change to the fall leaves, they'll be in the right spot when I turn on my vines. Okay, there we go. And let's add the fill layer behind just so that you can see it. Let's make that a fall color so that you can see. And there you have it. There are different ways that you can play with your vine pattern so that you could make it into fall. You can make it into spring. If it were winter, I would just add snowflakes, and those vines will look like wispy wind whipping snowflakes around. If you put a deep blue behind it and turned those white and then just added snowflakes here and there, and those are some fun ways that you can do it. Let me show you as I leave a couple of different options. I've also used them as strawberry fields or blueberry vines. It doesn't really matter that blueberries grow on bushes, not on vines. It still adds to a different a repeat in a pattern that you can use to be able to stretch your stash by using these CU vine patterns in other unexpected ways. If you like this tutorial and would like similar tutorials, you can join us in my designer club. The link is down below. If you have any questions, you can reach me at shells.creations1@gmail.com. Thanks. See you next time.